"Don't go in there." The voice came out of nowhere, sharp, desperate, and shaking, just as David Ashford was about to open the door to his sprawling estate. He froze, staring down at the small boy standing barefoot in the driveway. The boy was terrified, and what he revealed would change David's life forever. A wealthy businessman, a forgotten child, a house hiding a deadly secret. What began with a warning became a journey of guilt, belonging, and second chances. Stay tuned until the end to hear the story of a boy no one noticed, and a man who learned how to truly listen. Before we move on, please let us know which country you're listening from, and please subscribe to our channel. David Ashford was accustomed to silence in his sprawling Ansley Park estate, a silence that matched the void in his heart. But tonight was different. Just as he reached for the brass handle of the front door, a sharp, desperate voice split the night. "Don't go in!" A boy named Malik Carter emerged from the shadows, barefoot and shaking, terror reflected in his dark, wary eyes. "There's something in your house, something bad." Against his skepticism, David called 911 and watched as firefighters uncovered a gas leak, one that would have killed him instantly. The sheer terror of the moment sank deep as he watched the gas dissipate, understanding how close he'd come to death. The firefighters shook their heads, explaining that if he'd entered just moments earlier, he wouldn't have stood a chance. It was a grim reminder of the fragility of life, the unseen threads that bind strangers, and the unexpected moments that can change everything. What kind of future can arise when tragedy is averted by a boy with nowhere to call home? Malik confessed he had been living behind the bins for weeks, too afraid to stay elsewhere. The boy spoke of long nights spent huddled in the cold, ears tuned for every sound and every threat that might emerge from the dark. Despite the terror he felt, he refused to abandon that spot, holding on to the faint hope that someone, anyone, might one day notice him and offer a hand. Moved by the boy's quiet loyalty, David allows Malik to stay the night, creating a space for belonging and safety. Malik confirms seeing the men, and, through him, David starts to acknowledge the deep and lasting damage he has caused across neighborhoods and families. His story stirred long-suppressed memories of David's younger brother Eric, lost to the streets despite countless efforts to save him, a reminder of nights consumed by desperation and moments where help came too late. The sting of guilt surfaced sharply, burning like a quiet flame that refused to be extinguished, as David promised Malik a safe place to rest and quietly resolved to honor the boy's courage and the memories of those he'd failed by doing whatever it took to protect him and others like him, no matter the cost. The boy's courage becomes a pivotal moment for David, prompting a profound shift from guilt to accountability and planting the seeds for a future built upon belonging, trust, resilience, and the hard-fought promise of making things right for those he had once overlooked. In this quiet yet pivotal night, the threads of belonging began to weave a hopeful new chapter for them both. As he pieces together why Malik is living on the streets, David realizes that one of the assailants, a man named Tyrone Freeman, is a former resident pushed out by Ashford Development Group's gentrification projects, a bitter reminder of the countless stories silenced by greed. David discovered old files buried deep within Ashford Development Group archives, dust-covered documents and long-ignored pleas for help, their pages a testament to a painful chapter he had refused to acknowledge. The name Tyrone Freeman surfaced repeatedly again, reminding him of a man pushed to the edge by displacement and betrayal, and of a story that refused to stay buried no matter how deep he tried to bury it. Seeking answers, he met Tyrone, a man broken by eviction and betrayal, carrying the weight of countless nights spent in despair, grappling with a loss that felt too profound for words. Amid palpable tension and buried anger, a fragile understanding emerged as both men spoke openly about loss, abandonment, and the greed that had shaped their worlds. A moment that felt like the first faint crack in a long-standing wall of silence, allowing a glimmer of trust, a whisper of understanding, and the possibility of a hard-earned redemption to seep through the cracks and lay the foundation for a future worth rebuilding. With Malik by his side, David visited Bright Futures Shelter and met Reverend Helen Scott. Together, they laid the groundwork for second chances, for Malik, for Tyrone, and for countless families impacted by displacement. Discussing ideas for communal spaces, counseling services, and a revitalization plan that would honor the roots and resilience of the neighborhood. The boy inspired David to reevaluate every decision he'd made, prompting a profound shift from isolation to belonging, from guilt to a hopeful new chapter infused with purpose and renewal. as he came to understand that every moment offered a chance to make amends and cultivate belonging for himself and others. The boy inspired David to fight for more than corporate gain, urging him to use Ashford Development Group as a force for communal healing. Through the Second Wind Initiative, David and Tyrone began rebuilding Mechanicsville, focusing not only on affordable housing and communal spaces, but also expanding their efforts to include job training programs, childcare centers, mobile medical units, literacy classes, and spaces where neighbors could gather and heal together. The air was charged with possibility as trust was slowly rebuilt, brick by hopeful brick, and heart by hopeful heart. Amid the hammering of nails, the hum of conversation, and the sound of hopeful laughter filling the streets, David felt the heavy weight of guilt begin to shift towards a beacon of belonging and renewal, a profound testament to the strength, resilience, and collective grace of a community rising from its trials, united by a vision for a brighter shared future. A quiet press conference announced the launch of Second Wind. Malik, now a beacon of resilience, stood beside David. To everyone's surprise, Jalen, Tyrone's long-lost son, emerged from the group home, a shy smile lighting the space. The reunion became a reminder that healing is a collective endeavor, a mosaic built from threads of vulnerability, trust, grace, and the quiet strength of second chances, weaving a new chapter for a broken community and reminding all present that belonging and resilience can flourish, even in the ruins of despair. In that same moment, another long-awaited reunion quietly unfolded. David spotted his brother Eric stepping out from the crowd, older and wiser, the years of separation and struggle reflected in his eyes. As the two embraced, the weight of guilt, anger, and silence dissolved, replaced by the warmth of belonging and a hopeful reminder that even the deepest wounds can mend when met with understanding and grace. On a crisp morning in Ansley Park, David and Malik watched as families, old and new, embraced fresh beginnings. The boy who had saved a man became more than a ward. He became a son, a beacon of belonging and trust. Together they embraced the quiet beauty of that moment, knowing deep down that this was only the beginning of a chapter where both could flourish and find a place to call home. Together, surrounded by a revitalized neighborhood, they stepped forward, knowing that the road to redemption is paved with second chances, belonging, and a heart open to the needs of others, and that this path was worth every struggle, every sacrifice, and every quiet moment of grace that would shape the future they were building together. In that quiet, hopeful space, both found a home worth fighting for, one built on trust, belonging, and a promise for a brighter future, a space where every hard-fought moment became a cornerstone, and every hopeful glance reflected the strength of a bond that would carry them forward into all that tomorrow could hold. As the sun set, a quiet question floated on the warm night air. What future can be built when broken hearts learn to beat together? Will it be strong enough to weather the trials to come? Please share your thoughts and opinions in the comments below, and remember, life is short and fragile. So always remember to be kind and learn to listen.